Hey guys, welcome to Bird Keeper SHF Aqua Guardian featuring new Regigigas V-STAR from Crown Zenith with the amazing Star Guardian ability, allowing to discard any one of your opponent's bench Pokemon and all attached cards if your opponent has exactly one prize card remaining. We're playing this ability with our Golduck from Astro Radiance using Entangled Dive for 2 water and 1 colorless. You get to discard each player's active Pokemon and all attached cards. So we are playing, how do we charge it up though? Because the attack cost is very heavy. We have 1 Raihan and 1 experience share to help us charge up our Golduck bit by bit while we attack with our Regigigas V-STAR in the active, doing 230 damage with Giga Impact for only 3 colorless. So how do we charge up for Regigigas to attack? We have our Melony, 4 copies to help us charge it up. Attach an extra water energy from the discard pile so that we get to attack fast with our Regigigas, doing a V knockout for our first attack, and then after that we get to play Memory Capsule, Switch Retreat, and then attack with Angry Wag for another V-STAR knockout. So our first attack actually gets to kill a V Pokemon, but we are not able to kill a V-STAR with our first hit just because Giga Impact is not doing enough damage for a V-STAR knockout. But if we are lucky enough to get Boss or Serena at the right time, we may be able to kill a V card early game, and then on the next turn knock out another V-STAR for another 2 prize with Angry Wag. So Angry Wag is doing a lot of damage, 100 base plus 10 more for each damage counter on this Pokemon, and then you actually have to confuse this Pokemon after using this attack. For the same attack cost, we get to do a lot of damage. All we need is 18 damage counters on our Regigigas V-STAR to knock out another V-STAR Pokemon in the active. So we are doing 100 base plus 18 damage counter. That's enough to kill any V-STAR Pokemons off the board for the same energy cost, which is a lot. But we actually have to switch and retreat though, just because we are not able to attack after doing Giga Impact on the next turn. We can't attack. It's not that we can't use this attack. We cannot attack at all. That means we are forced to switch even if we have Memory Capsule already attached on the same Regigigas. So you can also think about switching to a second Regigigas V-STAR to attack with a second copy, but we don't have enough energy on the second copy to attack, so we are actually forced to switch and retreat to be able to attack with the same Regigigas V-STAR, and that's why we have that many switch cards in this deck. We have 2 Switch, 2 Escape Rope, 1 Bird Keeper, and 1 Air Balloon to help us retreat with our Bibarel. We are playing 2 copies of Bibarel for the draw support, 1 Serena, 1 Bird Keeper, 1 Avery, and also 4 Melony for the draw support, 1 Boss for the initial power play, 1 Lost City to counter 1 prize decks, 1 Dunsparce for the weakness guard, and also 1 Manaphy for the bench barrier. For the setup, we have 4 VIP Pass, 4 Quick Ball, and 1 Capture to get our basic Pokemons. For the evolution, we have 3 Incense and 2 Ultra Ball to evolve our V-STAR and also Golduck Bibarel. Finally, we have 2 Powerful Energy for the damage boost and 8 basic water energy. So that's all for the deck list. Now let's go for some gameplay! Okay, let's go for our first game versus Arceus V-STAR with Dragonite. They got double V-STAR going on, and we are playing Regigigas from Crown Zenith, the newest V-STAR ever, and it's doing really fine. So Star Guardian, a really difficult ability to pull off. It is a V-STAR power, but if you're lucky, you can actually play it at the final hour. Just before your opponent draw that final prize, you can actually play the V-STAR power and then do a bonus discard with your Golduck if you have experience share attached early before you use your ability. And since it's an ability, you actually get to discard their active with your Golduck on the same turn. So in addition to discarding one of their bench and all attached cards, you get to discard one of their active and all attached cards. So that's like you get to choose any one of their bench and you get to choose their active as well with your Golduck. So you're discarding any 2 of their Pokemon, which is huge though. Because if you discard 2 of their main attackers, they have nothing to attack on their next turn, and they can't draw their final prize. And you basically have an extra turn to set up your next Regigigas to prepare for your next Giga Impact to win the game, to do another Boss or Serena to knock out another V-STAR for a knockout, drawing the final prizes to win the game. So it's gonna help you stall by a lot of turns at the final hour by denying them that final 1 prize, discarding all of their attackers from play. We even have 1 Avery against 1 prize decks. It also helps us against V-STAR decks, by the way. So Avery helps us discard their bench until they have 3 Pokemons left, 3 precious Pokemons on their bench. And we even get to discard another one with our Star Guardian if they have 1 prize remaining, of course. And that is actually a huge disruption. If you can play Avery at the last minute, that would be big. So here comes Dragonite. And they don't have Arceus benched yet, so they're trying to get their Melony, but apparently they're playing Irida first. So Irida gets them a water Pokemon and a item, and an item card. You can search for tool cards, pre-rotation. Post-rotation, there's no more tool cards though. So all tool cards are considered a category of their own, and they are no longer considered an item. That means Irida doesn't get you your tool card anymore. You can no longer search for Choice Bell with Irida. I'm not sure about old tool cards though. Are they still labeled as items? Or have they changed all tool cards into a subcategory? I'm pretty sure all tool cards are no longer considered items though, right? Once Scarlet and Violet is out. Okay, here comes the Arceus. They have not attached a single energy though. I'm quite surprised. So no energy on the Arceus or Dragonite. No water energy, they played a Melony. No, they played Irida, my bad, sorry. So they need Melony for Dragonite. But apparently they're doing Trinity Charge for their first attack instead of Trinity Nova. Unless if they could do Melony this turn. So we got our first knockout early, and that's super lucky. We got Giga Impact to kill a Dragonite for exactly 230 damage, knocking it out. It has exactly 230 HP, so that's perfect. And we actually get to collect 2 prizes fast. And then on the next turn, we just need to wait for Regigigas to get damaged for us to play our Angry Whack for 280 damage. If we have 18 or more damage counter on our Regigigas, we get to do another V-Star knockout immediately after playing Giga Impact. So this is huge. We have Memory Capsule in our hand. But for this game though, we're only playing 1 copy of Memory Capsule. We have Choice Belt for this game, just because it's one of the earlier builds when I first started off experimenting. And we don't actually have that many Switch cards. So that's the bad thing about this build. Eventually I decided the good thing about the final upgrade, which is the one that I just reviewed, is that we have enough Switch cards for us to play our Regigigas first to attack non-stop with our V-Star, doing either Angry Whack or Giga Impact non-stop every single turn. We can do it because we have 2 Switch, 2 Escape Ropes, 1 Bird Keeper, and 1 Air Balloon. We can Switch Retreat multiple times over and over every single turn. Don't worry, we can do that quite easily. If we can't retreat with Air Balloon, we have energies to retreat with Greninja. Greninja is only 1 energy retreat cost, so we can quite easily attach 1 energy for the retreat. We even have double turbo to retreat with our Bibarel if we are in need to. So it's not too bad. We have Melony for our Regigigas. We have Raihan for Golduck. We can even play Experience Share and Raihan for our Greninja to do a bench snipe. So it can do Moonlight Shuriken since we are playing Water Energy. We can play Moonlight Shuriken for 90 damage on 2 of our opponent's Pokemon, any 2 of our opponent's Pokemon, which is big against 1 price decks, especially if they're playing Lunatone Solrock or stuff like that. If they don't have Manaphy in play, we can play Moonlight Shuriken for an extra price on the same turn. You can even think about playing Sharon for this deck. If you add Sharon though, you're scooping up not just the Pokemon but all attached cards, and that means you have no energies to attack with your second one. It's quite hard to attach energies to satisfy the attack cost for your second copy. To prepare the next Regigigas is a big task because we have nothing but Melony for the energy acceleration, and it's quite difficult to play Melony and Sharon at the same time. If you add Sharon into your deck, you're gonna need something like Arceus V-Star for the energy excel, because if you do Melony, you're not able to attach energy fast enough for you to play Sharon. For you to play Sharon, you're gonna have to wait a long time before you're able to play Sharon. Okay, here comes Arceus doing Trinity Nova for their first hit. I think, oh my god, they got their first knockout, my bad. So they did Trinity Nova on their last turn, only 150 damage because we have V-Guard, and now they're gonna collect the knockout. Okay, unfortunately, we did not have the Switch card. We have Shopping Center for this build. This is a very different list that I had. We have Golduck. We still have Golduck and Raihan Experience Share, but we don't have Lost City. We don't have Lost City. We don't have... I don't know what we don't... We have Memory Capsule, but only 1 copy. And we have Training Court as well, I think. So it's kind of a different list. Okay, We're just gonna try and switch right now, but we couldn't. So we have no switch cards. We have no condition for the retreat. We're not able to attack with the second Regigigas anyways. So we just pass the turn, not attacking. That's the bad thing about this deck, is that if you don't switch, you're done for. That's why now we have a lot more switch cards. So don't worry about playing the list. The final upgrade has enough switch cards. Okay, here comes Bibarel. They're gonna draw enough cards, and they have enough to attack with Dragonite. But Dragonite is not doing a knockout. It's not doing a one-hit knockout. It's only doing 280 damage, and Regigigas has 300 HP. We even have V-Guard, so I'll tank even more damage. So they kind of need something like Zigzagoon in addition to the Choice Belt. If they don't play Choice Belt, they're done for. If they need 2 hits to kill a V-Star, that would be pretty bad. Well, to be fair, we kind of need 2 hits as well. So we still have Memory Capsule in our hand. We can play it for our second Gigas. We still have our V-Star power in play because they have 4 prize remaining. And that means we're not able to play our V-Star power just yet. Okay, here comes the powerful. We're gonna do 250 damage with Giga Impact. If we can somehow get the Choice Belt, we got our V-Star knockout. But even playing 2 copies, so this is a different list, as I keep saying. Eventually, I decided to cut out the Choice Belt because we're not able to draw it out anyways. We have 2 copies for this game, but since we're only drawing 3 cards with Melony, we're not able to run through the deck fast enough to get that item out into our hand, even with Bibarel. So it's not that easy to search for our tool cards. It's not that easy to get the right cards into your hand, and that's why we don't have our Choice Belt anymore. So we got Serena though. Instead of Choice Belt, we got Serena in our hand, and that's giving us the knockout condition for another 2 prize. So we have to grab it right now, otherwise they're going to evolve on the next turn and deny us the knockout. So we're going to play it for a V knockout, Giga Impact. And if we can get our switch, we got our Memory Capsule to do Angry Whack on the next turn. They may do a boss to kill our bench Regigigas though, because it only has 240 HP. So it might not be smart to have benched the 3rd copy. I don't think we need the 3rd copy of our Regi. I don't know why we benched that on the last turn. We should not have done that. Because Dragonite can quite easily do a one-hit knockout on the basic Regigigas. Okay. So we're gonna draw with Bibarel. We got Bird Keeper. Finally, we got Bird Keeper. If we have a switch, we can play Melony double turbo to attack with the second Gigas. But they actually did a boss though. So if they play a boss, we don't actually have to switch anymore. Because they are doing the switch for us, and that means we get to play Giga Impact without switching and retreating. If they knock us out though. If they do a knockout, then we don't need to switch. If they don't do a boss, we are forced to switch and retreat. Okay. They're definitely gonna do it. Here comes boss with Dragonite doing 250 damage. That's their golden ticket. We did our Serena on the last turn, and now they're gonna do a boss. It's a counter. Direct counter. So they can either play Star Birth or Draconic Star. Draconic Star allows them to search for search their deck. I'm not sure how many. I think the top 12 cards of the deck. Look at the top 12 cards of your deck and attach any amount of water and basic lightning energy onto your Pokemon as in any way you like. It is an attack though, it's not an ability, so I don't think Draconic Star is that good. It is an optional attack that you get to use, but if you play Draconic Star, you're not able to use Star Birth. Since you're playing 2 V-Star power in the same deck, you kind of have to choose which one to play. I don't like playing more than 1 V-Star in a deck, because if you do 1 V-Star power by mistake, then you can't actually play the one that you need to. If you're up against a perfect match, if you want to play, for example, your Star Gravity, but you're doing some other V-Star power, then you can't actually play Star Gravity anymore. So it's very important to not block yourself by adding way too many V-Star power in the same deck. Then you may just, by mistake, play the wrong one, and then you're done. Because you can't play any other V-Star power if you use, one already. Okay, we're gonna do Giga Impact. We have no choice. We can't actually play our boss yet. We still have no choice belt. Look at that. We have 15 cards left in the deck and still no choice belt. We're playing 2 copies and we did not get it because we are playing too many tool cards. I think we have 2 experience share. I'm not sure how many experience share we have, but we have 1 memory capsule, 2 experience share, and 2 choice belt, and that's probably the reason why we're not getting our choice belt. So experience share is a bit too late because they have 2 prize remaining. If they kill our Regigigas, they win the game, and there's no point reattaching the energy onto our bench Pokemon. We don't even have the Psyduck on our bench. I think we got it priced. So that means we are forced to play our heavy ball, but we don't have a heavy ball for this deck, unfortunately. Not even for the final upgrade. So I decided eventually to remove heavy ball just because we need a lot more Melony. We need a lot more supporter cards to make this deck work. We need a lot more energy as well to be able to discard fast so that we get to play Melony by our second turn. Okay, we're gonna play Industrious Incisor, trying to dig out that choice belt. Oh, we just made a mistake. Look at that. We made a mistake by attaching the tool card onto our Regigigas V-Star. If you attach the memory capsule, you can't play your choice belt anymore. So it's very, very important to note the fine details. Do not do memory capsule if you want to play choice belt. That's the reason we have shopping center in this deck, but we just got it discarded. They just played a training card on the last turn to remove our shopping center, and that's the reason why we should not have attached the memory capsule, because we want to be digging for the choice belt, which would have given us the Dragonite V-Star knockout to win the game. Okay, if they can't do more damage though. Powerful Energy doesn't work on Dragonite, so they can't actually do 300 damage in a single turn. I don't think there's any way they can knock out our Regigigas right now. Right? 280 damage is the max they can do. If by some miracle they have a Zigzagoon and a Scoopamnet, they would be able, in addition to the choice belt, they would be able to kill us and draw the final 2 prize to win the game. Another Bibarel. So both players are playing multi-evolutions with 2 Bibarels, right? We have 2 Bibarel, they have 2 Bibarel, they have 2 V-Star, we have 1 main V-Star and also a Golduck, which is a bonus attacker. If you can play Entangled Dive at the right time, you got an extra, a free discard, which is gonna mean a lot at the final hour, right? Because you're doing knockouts with the Regigigas, and at the last minute, you got Golduck for the discard, you got Avery for extra discards, and another 1 more discard with your Star Guardian. So that's a huge, like, we are not just knocking out their Pokemon, but also discarding their Pokemon and all attached cards. So that's a big deal because they're gonna be forced to discard their Bibarels with Avery, and then we get to choose whatever bench Pokemon to discard with our Reggie. We even get to discard their active with our Golduck if we're lucky, because Golduck, we're only playing 1 copy though, unfortunately, so we may not be able to pull off Entangled Dive at all for a single game. But if you're lucky, you can actually discard another extra active Pokemon. Okay, they got Crystal Cave for the recovery. It's not doing enough though. 30 damage recovery. What's the point? I mean, what's the point? I guess they need the stadium against Path to the Peak, or if they play double turbo, they need to counter Temple of Sinnoh. So I guess that's the reason they have Crystal Cave. You could do stuff like Stormy Mountain as well for Dragonite, but it doesn't really help you bench other cards. I feel like Crystal Cave is the best one. Maybe one Crystal Cave and one Stormy Mountain. They have Training Court though. Training Court for Greninja. Okay, they did a boss and now they have one prize remaining. Look at that. They just knocked out our Manaphy and now they have one prize remaining. We finally get to play our Star Guardian. Look at that. Free discard. We're gonna do Escape Rope and Switch because we got our Switch cards late. So we're gonna play it right now. Escape Rope. We don't actually need to play the Switch if we put Bibarel into the active. We can't even retreat with the Bibarel since we have a double turbo. So it's over. They are forced to discard the Arceus, right? They are forced to put Arceus into the bench, and that means we get to discard Arceus with our Star Guardian while doing a boss to knock out the Dragonite. So if we don't kill the Dragonite, they're gonna do a boss to win the game on the next turn, but we actually get to win the game right now. And the only attacker they have left on the next turn is Greninja, and Greninja is not doing a knockout. Greninja is not doing a knockout because we have more than 90 HP on all Pokemons in play. No Manaphy, but we have more than 90 HP to tank against Moonlight Shuriken. So Moonlight Shuriken is not going to kill anything. And they got no V-Star, no V-Cards to attack on the next turn. They are done for. So right now we're up against a Claydol deck. They got a Claydol box. And a very, very interesting combo of attackers. They're playing Zapdos, Galarian Zapdos, to do Zapper Kick for the paralysis, for constant paralysis, just because they actually need to discard all energies from Galarian Zapdos to be able to paralyze our active Pokemon while doing only 70 damage though. So their strategy is not doing a lot of damage, but they get to paralyze every single turn, and that's saying something. But not just that, they're also playing Jinx. They're also playing Jinx for Silver Tempest, helping them collect the knockout after collecting enough damage counters on our V Pokemon. If they have done Zapper Kick twice on, for example, a V-Star Pokemon without a Choice Belt, if they have Choice Belt, they can do even more damage. By the way, so if they did Zapper Kick twice, they got 14 damage counter on their opponent's V-Star Pokemon, and that means Jinx is gonna collect a knockout against any V-Star by doing another 140 damage plus 10 base. So Psychic Assault does 10 base plus 10 more damage plus 10 more damage for each damage counter on opponent's active Pokemon, and that means if they have 14 damage counter on their V-Star, Jinx is gonna swoop in and collect the knockout. So Jinx requires 2 colorless, and they got Claydol to satisfy the attack cost. They got Claydol to satisfy the attack cost for Zapdos as well. And they even are playing Stonjourner for the additional damage attacker. They're doing 190 damage if they have no supporter cards in the discard pile, with Stonjourner for 2 fighting and 1 colorless. Same attack cost as Zapdos, but Zapdos is doing a paralysis instead. They got a lot of rods to shuffle back their Jinx, so they get to recycle and do Psychic Assault for 0 prize. So what I mean by that is that if you knock out a Jinx with your V Pokemon, you're not allowed to draw any prize cards. So we are playing our main attacker. The only attacker that we have, the only Pokemon that we are doing damage with is Regigigas V-Star, and that means we are only able to collect a knockout against the Jinx. We are only able to kill the Jinx with our Regigigas, and if we do that, we're not drawing any prize cards. So if they keep rotting back, if they keep shuffling back the Jinx, we're done for. But we have Lost City for this list. I'm so happy that we have Lost City now, and we actually get to pull it off. You'll see that it actually helped us a lot at the final hour, at the end of the game. We get to lost the Jinx and do an escape rope to collect the final prize. I'm giving off a lot of spoilers, but you'll see later. So we got Memory Capsule, and Paralysis is actually going to stop us a lot because we have only a limited amount of switch cards in his deck. We need to switch anyways though if we do our Giga Impact or even Angry Wag, because we are confusing ourselves if we do that attack. If we play Angry Wag over and over, we may flip a Tails with the confusion, ending up, you know, not doing any attack and passing the turn, damaging ourselves. Okay, here comes another Zapper Kick. So we should have done, we should have killed the Bibarel though. This was like a huge mistake. I don't know why I did that. I killed the Claydol, the Baltoy, instead of the Bidoof. Because now they got the draw support and they get to draw. They haven't even discarded their energies yet. So I'm not sure why I did not do a boss on the Bidoof. I did a boss on the Baltoy instead when we have a powerful energy attached to our Regigigas. We could have done 70 damage to knock out the Bidoof to deny them the Industrious Incisor. Okay, here comes a quick ball for a Jinx. There we go. They have a Jinx, and it's gonna be very, very annoying because not only is it doing a huge amount of damage, we are not allowed to draw any prize cards for a knockout. And we don't have enough bosses in this deck. We only have that one boss, and we played it early game for our first knockout, and now we're stuck with nothing but Serena, and Serena does not work against one prize cards. They're playing a full one prize deck, so our only hope is Lost City. Okay, we got another powerful energy attached. We have no Greninja, unfortunately. So that's the bad thing about playing no zero heavy ball in the deck, is that if you have a Greninja prize, you're not able to get it out and discard your energy. But we have Quick Ball and Ultra Ball though to help us discard our energy to play Melony. If you don't discard your water energy, you're not able to play Melony. And Melony does not only help you attach the energy. Sometimes we need Melony not for the energy, but for the draw support, because we are playing 4 copies of Melony. Sometimes we have no choice but to play just to draw 3 cards. So we got Switch and Escape Rope in our hand. I think we made another mistake for this game. We switched into the Bibarel. So we could have done Switch. We could have switched into the Regi and then evolve to remove the special condition. We forgot that evolving helps us against the paralysis. We could have tank damage with our second Regi and then evolve to remove the paralysis. We got Avery this turn. So let's just play our Capture right now. They got Temple of Sinnoh, so Capture is not doing anything, but I don't think we have any more basic Pokemons in the deck. We may have one last Regi though. So Temple of Sinnoh means we can't do Hammer In. I think the first attack is Hammer In. Hammer In does only 50 damage instead of 70. If we're doing 70 damage with Hammer In, we could have knocked out the Manaphy with the boss, but we don't have any boss anyways. So Angry Wag is only doing 100 base, and if we don't have any damage counters on the second Regi, if we switch to the second Regi, we can't actually knock out the Zapdos, even with the Melony. Right? We couldn't even play the Melony this turn anyways, because we have no water energy in the discard pile. But if we could have, we could not even kill the Zapdos in the active, because we have no Powerful. Powerful energy does not do anything but a colorless, because they have Temple of Sinnoh. We are not doing extra 20 damage. Okay, we're gonna play Escape Rope. This is the big mistake. This is the biggest mistake. We switch into Bibarel. We should have switched into the Regi and done some damage. Well, to be fair, we couldn't actually do a knockout. We're not doing a knockout with our bench Regi anyways. If we switch into the second Regi, we're only doing 50 damage, my bad. And 50 damage is not enough to kill anything. So might as well just switch to the Bibarel. If we have damage counters on our Regi though, we could have done the knockout against the Zapdos. by evolving and doing a capsule. I don't like flipping coins for confusion. I would rather switch than flip the coin for confusion, because if you flip a tails, they're gonna come in and do a jinx. If they play Psychic Assault, they can kill you with one hit. They even are doing Jirachi. So this is a really good deck. I feel like it's a really good deck. They're playing Claydol to supplement for colorless energy cost. They're doing Doom's Desire. I'm not sure about the attack. Jirachi has an attack that Astral Death or something. I forgot about Jirachi's attack. But Jirachi knocks out your opponent's active Pokemon instantly if you flip 2 heads with that attack. They have no Glimwood Tangle though. I'm quite surprised. So no Glimwood Tangle means they're actually forced to... the odds are a lot less for them to get a knockout. But Jirachi, if they flip 2 heads though, they get a free knockout. They even have Jinx to deny us from drawing any prizes while doing extra damage, multiplying the amount of damage counters we have on our V-Star, and then slowly knocking us out with another Zapdos or another Jinx. They can even pile up the Jinx by playing Psychic Assault over and over and over. So all they need is 1 Zapdos and then like 4 Jinxes or something like that. But if they play that, they may not get the Zapdos that early though. So that's the reason they have only like 2 Jinxes. It's really annoying because you're gonna see that they actually played Rot to shuffle back the Jinx multiple times. Like, it's so annoying. They played Jinx so many turns. Okay, this is the risky part. They could have... here's the part where they played Jirachi. And they could have done a instant knockout and insta-kill on our Regigigas if they are lucky enough to get 2 heads. But fortunately, they didn't. So since they're playing basic energy, since Claydol's ability only allows you to attach basic fighting energy from the discard pile, since they have only basic energy in play, might as well play Temple of Sinnoh, right? I prefer playing Pokestop though. Pokestop helps you discard your fighting energy. It helps you draw your items to evolve. It helps you get your air balloons and stuff like that. So I feel like Pokestop is the best way to go for Claydol. So if you have Path to the Peak, Jirachi's ability doesn't work. Jirachi has an ability that allows you to search your deck for any 3 cards. You got to search for any 3 cards and put it into your hand if your opponent knocks out Jirachi with damage from an attack. Obviously, it has to be in the active spot for the ability to work. If it's knocked out on the bench, I'm not sure though. I'm actually not sure. I think it's... I'm pretty sure it only works in the active spot. As with all abilities nowadays. Okay, we have no Golduck. I feel like it's too late to play Golduck anyways. If we discard like the Jinx, they're probably gonna rot it back anyway. So there's no point playing a Golduck against a 1-price deck. Since they're playing so many Rots and Recyclers. So many Pokemon Recyclers. And they don't really need to recycle their energies though. Since they have Claydol to reattach from the discard pile, and that's the reason they're playing Zapdos to discard and reattach, discard and reattach for the constant paralysis. And they got free energy for Jinx as well. All they need is 2 Claydol and 1 energy from their hand for Zapdos to attack, 1 energy from their hand for Stonjourner to attack, no energy from their hand to do Psychic Assault. Okay, I don't know why they shuffle back the energy. Oh, because they need 1 energy from their hand, my bad. They need to attach from their hand for Zapdos and Stonjourner. I keep forgetting that. Okay, Ultra Ball for the Jinx. And Zapdos got free retreat as well. It's like super consistent, right? If they do a boss on the Claydol though, if we have another boss and if we kill the Claydol, I'm not sure if they can revive it fast enough. Right? They would be stuck for one turn. And then, because they have no Belltoy, they have no extra Belltoy on a bench. If we do at some point another boss, they would be stuck for one turn. They can still play Jinx though. Jinx only needs one extra energy from the discard pile. So we're gonna do Angry Wag again. Because at least we could possibly flip a heads with the confusion. And that would mean we don't need to switch. If we don't get the switch, at least we get to gamble on the coin flip. Giga Impact means you can't attack on the next turn and you're forced to switch. If you're confused, at least you still have the potential to do damage on the next turn without switching your Pokemon. Okay, here comes Ultra Ball. What are they gonna get? They could have played more, more Pokemons. A wider variety, but they're sticking to nothing but Zapdos, Stormjourner, and Jinx. Okay. If they do a boss on the Regigigas on the bench, they actually got a knockout. Because the one on the bench has 15 damage counters, and Psychic Assault is exactly enough to knock it out. So we have to be very careful because they are slowly killing us with Jinx, and we are not drawing any prizes over and over, which is very, very frustrating. Oh, my bad. The one on the bench is 10. We have 10 damage counter on the bench. But now we have 15 damage counter in the active. So I got confused with the double turbo because now double turbo only acts as one energy. It only serves as one colorless because of Temple of Sinnoh. So I forgot that Temple of Sinnoh is still in play, and I wanted to discard 2 colorless for the retreat cost with my double turbo, but failed to do so. Okay, Angry Wag is gonna draw 0 prizes. We did not get our Lost City, not yet. So they still have 6 prizes though. They have a long way to go. I feel like they need 2 more strikes to kill our active. 1 more strike to kill the bench. So if they do a boss right now, they got a free knockout on the V-Star on the bench. And then on the next turn, they need 2 more hits though, right? They need 2 more turns to kill our first Regi. The one in the active right now. And that's giving us enough time to set up our third Regi, get it ready to attack. So they actually played Pokemon Catcher but failed because it got a Tails. They got a Tails with the Catcher, and we get to survive with the bench Regi. Here comes Melony. So we want to be getting our Switch card with Melony, but unfortunately we got nothing. Bibarel is not doing anything because we're drawing way too many cards. We're not able to play all the cards that we draw, and that's the reason why, sometimes Bibarel is not a good combo with Melony. But we don't really have a choice though, right? If you play Kirlia, you're forced to discard too many cards. I don't like discarding too many cards from my deck, so Chinchino Kirlia is not really that good. I feel like Bibarel is better, even if you're playing 4 copies of Melony in your deck, which is the main supporter to draw cards. I don't think we have any other choice but to play that. You could still do Arceus V-Star, Trinity Nova. You can, there's a lot of options for Regigigas for the Energy XL. You can even play Flaffy, but I prefer doing Melony. So we got a Tails, we gambled. We had no choice but to gamble though, because Regigigas is going to get knocked out anyways. Might as well just flip the coin. If they knock us out with Zapdos, or they don't have a Zapdos on the bench. If they knock us out with the Stormjourner, we got another prize on the next turn. So I feel like they should be attacking with Jinx non-stop. They should be attacking with Jinx over and over and over. Until we have our final Regigigas attacking. So Dunsparce is helping us a lot because they are playing a fighting deck, fighting energy. They could have done a lot more damage though. So thank God for Dunsparce helping us from the very start throughout the whole game, blocking off the weakness. 250 damage for Psychic Assault. Basic Pokemon, 2 colorless, Energy Excel with Claydol, Insanity. Okay, we got Angry Wag for the free knockout. So we're gonna play Raihan to search to get our Lost City into our hand. We're gonna play Lost City to remove Jinx from play, and that's gonna help us, you know, draw the final prize with our Escape Rope. Unfortunately, we have one final Escape Rope though. We have one last Escape Rope, and we may be forced to kill another Jinx with the Lost City in play. But I feel like we have this in the bag though, because they only have one Jinx remaining, and they've played enough rods already. I think they have exhausted 3 rods. They have one final rod remaining, and that means they are not allowed to play Clara, because Claydol's ability only works if you have no supporter cards in the discard pile, and Clara is a supporter. So I feel like we have this in the bag. I feel like all we need is one Escape Rope. Even if they remove our Stadium card, we just need to deal with the Jinx, eventually exhausting their rods. They have one last rod remaining. So I don't think they can do it. I don't think they can stall long enough for us to draw the remaining 2 prizes, because they need 4 more prizes though. They have to do a boss right now to kill our V-Star on the bench. If they don't, well, they can do it later though, right? I feel like they should be doing triple boss. It's a bit difficult to kill the Reggie in the active, because we actually have our 3rd V-Star. We're lucky enough to have 3 V-Stars inside the deck, and that means we get to evolve 3 times and play Giga Impact for this turn. So we are forced to play Giga Impact because we have no more Memory Capsule. We could have done 170 damage with our Angry Wag for 3 colorless, but we're choosing to play Giga Impact. So we got Golduck ready to go. We actually have Golduck with Experience Share ready on the bench. And all we need is one more energy after they knock out our Reggie. If they do a boss right now, we got Entangled Dive on the next turn. But I feel like we shouldn't be playing Golduck anymore, since we have one final card on the prize. All we need is that Escape Rope. 1 prize remaining. So we're gonna play Serena. We're gonna do Serena. We should have done Switch though. Oh no, we need to escape, right? We need to play Escape Rope. So I feel like we should play Serena first. If we play the Switch onto a different Pokemon, we may not get the Escape Rope, and I feel like it's safer for us to keep the Switch in our hand just in case we don't get the Escape Rope, because we have one copy remaining. We have 5 cards left in the deck though, so we could have just discarded the Switch and draw all 5. So we got the Escape Rope anyway, and we won the game by doing another Giga Impact. So Escape Rope to avoid the Selfish Lips ability, denying us from drawing 1 prize if we kill the Jinx with a V Pokemon. And since Regigigas is a V-Star, we're not allowed to draw any prize to do by knocking out the Jinx. But we have Lost City still in play, so even if we kill the Jinx, they need they have the Jinx Lost. They got no more Psychic Assault to help them collect knockouts. They're gonna have to rely on nothing but Stormjourner and possibly Claydol. Claydol can still attack, but they need a lot more turns to win the game. They need a lot more turns to knock out 2 more V-Stars to draw the remaining 4 prizes. So it's not that easy. Anyways, now we're up against a Lunatone Solrock deck. They're playing Radiant Greninja for the draw spot as well. And we have Lost City, again, a perfect one price counter. So I think I'm just going to end the voiceover right here and you guys to focus on the game. Hope you guys enjoyed this new combo. They are featuring the new Regigigas V-Star from Crown Zenith using Star Guardian with our Entangled Dive Golduck from Astro Radiance for a bonus discard using Experience Share and Raihan to charge it up for the 2 water and 1 colorless cost. We're playing Melony to do Giga Impact fast early game so that we get to attack for the 3 energy cost, 3 colorless energy cost to do Giga Impact, doing big damage with our powerful energy, up to 250 damage with Regigigas V-Star, and then on the next turn we get to play Memory Capsule to do Angry Wag for 100 base damage, plus 10 more for each damage counter on your Regigigas V-Star. We even get to do V-Guard to tank more damage while doing Giga Impact, so that we get to play our Angry Wag for another V-Star knockout on the next turn with Memory Capsule. So that's all for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Have a great day and bye for now, people. Enjoy life!